Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks! I am Mark the Dart Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Chris Christopherson Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So before we did this, I eschewed my regular intro because Chris was like, you should do it like a boxing announcer. So how was that, Chris?
That was absolutely perfect. Like, ladies and gentlemen, Mark the Dart Hoffmeyer.
I always plan the intros right before we start. So when you busted out on me, I was like, yeah, why not? That sounds fun. Let's go for it.
Hold on a second. Let me just gargle some water with lemon and cayenne pepper. It'll make my voice sound a lot smoother.
I won't talk for a day, and then I will come back and redo this. I will come back and re-record the intro. But Chris Kelly, Creed 2. We've talked the entire Rocky franchise. We've covered Creed, and now we're under the Creed 2 final fight. Which, you know what I love about the Creed franchise is, when I first heard about Creed 1, when I heard that they were going to make a movie where Rocky Balboa trains the kid of Apollo Creed, I was like, that's brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. And it just feels right. And then for the second film, when they're like, hey, Adonis Creed is going to box Drago's kid. And you're going, like, it just, oh man, when Viktor Drago, it's going to be Viktor Drago versus Adonis Johnson or Adonis Creed. And it's just another home run idea. It almost writes itself. Like, I feel like you could tell AI, chat, whatever this, and the AI thing would spit out a great idea for it. No, it wouldn't. Don't do that. But it's such a wonderful idea. And when I heard that Dolph was coming back, when I heard that Rocky was coming back, when I heard that the cast was coming back, I got really excited for this movie. Heck, even Danny Stuntman Wheeler's back. So it's just it's a fun idea. It works organically, and it's kind of like Rocky 3 almost, because Sly loses and then he comes back and wins, and then that's kind of this training. But I love this final fight, and I love how Michael B. Jordan gets there. I love how Creed gets there. It's just a good journey. I think I like Creed more, Chris Kelly, but Creed 2, I mean, builds to something special. I like this movie a lot. What do you think about the final fight in this movie in general?
I think that Creed 1 cinematically is a better film, but I think Creed 2 has more fun with it, if that makes sense. I really enjoy how Adonis Creed, he's really becoming into his person now. We're really starting to discover more about him. And then we have Ivan Drago, whose story we never know what happened to him because we continued with Rocky Balboa's story. We find out that almost immediately after the fight in Rocky 4 in 1985, Ivan Drago lost everything. And Ivan tells Rocky this in that little scene, saying, like, I lost my wife, I lost the respect of my country, I am nothing now. And now I'm coming to basically make you look like a fool in your country where everybody loves you. And this final fight, I love with Florian Big Nasty. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine having that nickname? Your nickname is Big Nasty, like Mark Big Nasty off.
It makes me feel dirty.
My goodness. Dude, 6'4". He's normally at 250 pounds, but he slimmed down to 225 for this role. And one of his big things is he likes to brag about it. Not brag, but he's very well known in his community for having his 8-pack abs. So much so that he actually has a workout on his website that you can follow so you can have your 8-pack abs just like him. That's nuts. But the reason why he has the nickname Big Nasty is because he's so big. Again, 6'4". And he's incredibly fast for someone his size. Like, can you imagine? It's basically, quite literally to put it, would be somebody who is Mark Hoffmeyer size, but lightning fast. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not a fast guy, but you know what I'm saying, right? Mark?
Yeah. Listen,
that's crazy. That's crazy. You actually see this in the matches. I mean, the first match, you see him. Creed gets whipped a little bit. We'll talk a little bit of that in a second. But in this last match, holy bananas! It's like, bam, bam, lightning fast hits left and right, and it is bonkers to think about. It almost looks like it's sped up, like it almost seems a little bit cartoonish, doesn't it? I mean, to you a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it does. I mean, but all the Rocky fights are sped up, so I mean, you kind of,
yeah.
Like, and I think you kind of have to speed up the frame rate probably a little bit just to Yeah, because you don't. I mean, these people are swinging 1,000% in this movie, so you definitely got to speed it up. But I mean, like you said, for a dude with so much muscle, like so much lactic acid, he can move. He can move fast. Like when I used to weigh 250, and someone told me I looked like a cave troll, and so you couldn't. I was like, I was big. I could bench like 350 and everything, but like nothing I did was fast. Like this dude at that weight, he can move. He's fast. And you know what's a lot different about this one is they switched up the stunt crew on this and the fight choreographers. So in the last one we had Clayton J. Barber and we had Anthony Martin. In this one we went to Daniel Bernhardt, who, if you know Daniel Bernhardt, that's the dude from John Wick, The Matrix. Like he's just been from every single Atomic Blonde, Parker. I mean, this guy has done so many movies, so much stunt choreography. He trained everybody for Nobody. He was in Logan. Like this is a guy he's royalty in the stunt industry. And they also went to Daniel Hernandez, who's another gigantic name in the industry. I mean, Daniel Hernandez, he recently did The Woman King. He was the fight choreographer for that. He did stunts on Avengers Endgame. Like he did the Gray Man, like fight coordinator. Huge names. He was in Endgame. He was the fight coordinator for that. So they switched to for this one, they took a less boxing approach, I think, because they hired an actual boxer to be part of the training for the first Creed. But this one, they went to more traditional stuntman fight choreographers in this. Nothing wrong with that, but you do feel the difference in the fights because, I mean, and first and foremost, you had, in the first fight, you had Tony Bellew, who was a boxer. So he doesn't need too much coordination. He just needs to learn the choreography. He doesn't need to learn how to box. But in this one, you have Michael B. Jordan, and, Florian. So they're traditional non-boxers. So they brought in more stunt-oriented people who know all aspects of fighting. But you can tell when the fights go on that there's a much different vibe from Creed 2 to Creed 1. I don't know if you picked that up.
Oh, absolutely. You could tell it was looked more choreographed, but it looked very much like people were really getting hit and hurt, and it looked tough and looked cool. It also looked a little stylized, but it didn't look too much stylized, if that makes sense. And I think that's what really draws you into it more, is you're seeing people that look like that they had actually been training for this, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, no. You're good. I mean, it's close quartered, right? In the other one, the fights weren't as close quartered. In this one, Adonis has to fight in the tire. He has to put his foot in the tire. He has to fight he has to get into Victor's, like he can't stay on the edge of his punches. He has to get inside and work his body and be close and stay out of range of those huge right hands that overextend. But yeah, it's a completely different vibe from the first Creed, because in this one he sort of has to stay in the pocket with this huge dude who can hit you from a long way out. So I guess you have a different narrative of fighting, so you bring in a different stunt crew, different fight choreographers to pull that off.
Yeah, and visually these people look intimidating. Michael B. Jordan said in an interview that he thought that when he saw Florian for the first time that he looked like a Mack truck. And Florian even said that he wanted to work on his acting for this movie because he wanted to create a character that he said, quote, you don't know who you want to cheer for type of performance, which I thought was interesting because Florian's character, Ivan, you feel like he wants to fight Adonis only because his father wants him to fight him. Does that make sense?
He's been groomed. He's been groomed since a child to be a Mack truck murderer. And that's what he becomes. I think mainly he just wants to hang out with his dad. At the end of this movie, when they're running together, and he's like, "This is great. I'm chilling with my pops. This is like we're running again. This is awesome." I think that's what he wants. I think the fight game for him is just so personal. He grew up hating Rocky. I don't know why he should hate the Creeds, but it's
yeah. I thought that was interesting. He's like, but it's because, as Ivan says, now I'm going to destroy your boy, and it's like, well, I mean, he's not really. He's an innocent bystander in this. If anything, Creed should hate you.
Yeah, Creed should go after Milo Ventimiglia. No, I'm sorry. Drago should go after Milo, not Creed. Like Victor should target poor Milo. Like knock on his door and just pummel him in this.
Like who is this guy? I actually don't know. Why are you at my house?
And then Rocky's like, my son Milo. And then he's like, Adonis, avenge me. So then Adonis has to go beat up Viktor to avenge Viktor killing Rocky's son in Russia.
Creed 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we did. The original ending to this, I don't know if you've read much about it, but the original ending was that Creed sits down with Viktor Drago, and he has a little talk with him. And he explains to him, no hard feelings, basically. And he explains to him, I want you to understand that, I don't hate you. And regardless of what your dad may feel about me and my family, I just want you to know that it's strictly just you and me. Like, there's no hard feelings between us. And Ivan just says, basically like, I know. And then, Viktor says, basically, I know. And Ivan then talks to Rocky, and he explains to him that he always felt bad about killing Apollo. And he explains to him that as a boxer, Apollo should have known better than to get into a boxing match with him at the time, which I thought was interesting. I'm not sure how I really feel about that.
Nah.
But I mean, at the same time, like, I didn't like it. Like, don't get me wrong. If they did actually use that part, I would have been like, no. But to add a little bit to it, do you think that Apollo should have known better than to box Ivan at the?
But I mean, this is the same setup. Ivan is an unknown. He's a big dude. He's a brick. And he wants to fight. And you have Carl Weathers. You have Creed as an Apollo Creed. He still got it. I mean, look at him in that movie. He still got it. He beat 99.9% of the people in it. I think the problem where it comes is just the whole not quitting, the whole, like, I will not quit. I will go out on my sword. And Apollo very much so goes out on his sword. Like, he does not quit. And because of that, the jacked up, genetically modified, steroided Russian kills him. And so I you know how many MMA fighters stick around too long? It's a thing. Like, it's what happens. And
it's all they know. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the fight makes sense. And so for him to say that he should have known better, he's a fighter. He's Apollo Creed, and you are an unknown. So and like everyone talked about Drago's physique. I mean, look at Carl Weathers. Like, they look the same.
They're both very ripped men.
Exactly.
But I think Ivan had the upper hand because he was like a foot taller than him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a brawler, he's a bruiser, he's a killer. But yeah, I'm glad that part doesn't get brought in at all.
But just to add a little bit to this, that was kind of used for Creed 3 ending, where they have that heart-to-heart at the end.
Yeah.
Damien with Creed, because Creed, when he sits down in the locker room and he's like, the first thing Damien says is, well, I guess you did learn a few things. Mm-hmm. But they have that heart-to-heart, and he says, like, basically, you should have known better than to get into the ring with.
Yeah, and I'm glad they left that out, and I'm glad they shifted over to Creed 3.
1,000%. Yeah. And also, I'm really glad that they didn't use the original ending that was filmed but not used, where Creed actually whips Drago. And I was like, no.
What do you learn from that?
Way.
What do you learn? Like, the whole point is what? No, you need the broken ribs. You need the Adonis has no more rib, by the way. Adonis's ribs are gone. They've disappeared. They're inside his body, and they are gone. But what this movie does, though, is it builds to the throwing of the towel, and it builds to Drago learning a lesson. It becomes like, I want to protect my son. I have not protected my son. I have groomed him to be a killer. I have used him. He just wants to have a dad, and he's going to lose this fight, but we'll be able to move forward with it. And that's very touching. And that's an actual learning moment in a pugilist movie where people in the seventh movie of a franchise that should be stupid by now, you have people learning lessons. And you got to make Ivan look good. Because, like, imagine that, Chris. He's like, remember when he goes and trains? He's like, this looks terrible. Yeah, you're in hell. We got to break. You got to start over, get reborn. He's like, I got to go to hell. And he has to do sledgehammer stuff, and he has to box toe to toe. And then he just destroys a Drago? Come on now. It's just lo-fi training, right? It's Rocky 4 training. It's Rocky 1 training. A lot of MMA people that you see, they're flipping tires. They're using sledgehammers. I mean, it's working the core. It's working different muscles. It's It's getting out in the heat. It's pushing yourself that far. I mean, I told a stupid story, Chris, about how my first boxing match was 90 seconds and I couldn't lift my arms anymore and I started puking. So it's and I won it. I just want to let everyone know. But then I couldn't lift my arms and I got destroyed in the next fight. So I got to say that. It was like a roller coaster night, Chris Kelly. A lot of puke. But yeah, you got to push yourself past that. And I think getting out there, getting like he had to rebuild himself. And I think Drago didn't. Drago just was beating up soup cans. And Creed went and found another level. And I think that's why he had to toughen up to fight Creed. No, Drago. I keep messing up these names. Victor, Adonis. I know the names. They're just we've talked.
They're kind of jumbled.
Yeah.
All over.
Well, because it's just. But you know what I love too, Chris, is that how many movies have we watched where we're like, oh, that's a great Tom Cruise picture. That's a great Julia Roberts picture. Oh, Denzel's in that movie. Or oh, John Leguizamo's awesome in that movie. But this film, we're talking about Adonis. We're talking about Victor. We're talking about Ivan. We're talking about Rocky. We're actually talking about Bianca. Like, these are characters. And I think that's a level of success for this movie, in that we're talking about the characters themselves and not just the actors, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're talking about the characters because their acting is so unbelievable. You actually believe these people are who they are. I mean, I really believe like Michael B. Jordan is Adonis. It's like whenever I watched Black Panther, I was like, yeah, that's Adonis. He even has the mustache. Like, what is this?
He found this character. He really did. And I also like that there's still a chip on his shoulder. I like that style of him. And I like when we get into this fight, he has 6 wins. He wins the belt. I like when Bianca says, have you taken a shit yet? Because that's probably my favorite bit from Creed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah,
take off my gloves. Take off my gloves. And he's like, oh, we're not going to do that. And he's like, you going to wipe for me? Yeah, cut his gloves. Give him a...
It happens. But yeah, like, I like that he says, what were you fighting for? And he's like, I was afraid of this, expectations, being the champ, scared I couldn't do it. And it's kind of cool watching him get destroyed, rebuild, and come back as Creed 2.0. And he's able to stand in the pocket with Viktor Drago, which is pretty awesome. And like, this final fight, I don't think it's one of the stronger fights in the franchise, but I really like the overhead shots. When every time that he gets into a corner, when Victor gets him into a corner, you feel it. You're like, oh no, get out of there, Donnie, get out of there. And it just, watching him overextend and then hit him with the left, and then just, like, whenever they fall, whenever his ribs get turned into jelly, and then when he finally wins and Ivan throws in the towel. Like, I really like the narrative of this fight. I dig it a lot. And also, too, I love when the ref, my favorite moment of this fight, is I think the ref is all about Donnie winning, because the ref goes in round 10, what's your name? Creed. What's your name? Creed. Like, the ref does it twice. Like, I think he's on Donnie's side for this, and that makes me happy.
Even the announcers, they're like, I can't believe this guy is still standing.
I do too, but
it sounds like everybody was for Creed. I really liked, and interesting. I was in Moscow, and somehow everybody's for Creed.
He was a 25-1 underdog in this fight.
That's nuts to think about, because they do say that, the announcers say that, like, 25-1, and he's the underdog because he clearly. I mean, if it weren't for Big Nasty Ivan, if he weren't for him knocking down Adonis in that first match, whenever he tries to get back up and he just wham, wails him right on the head, we all know that Ivan would have won that match. Mm-hmm. Like, no hands down. I mean, hands down, he would have totally taken that belt, which sets up the reason why they even want to have a rematch, because he has to prove it to himself. I can actually beat this guy. But it is done by a split decision there at the end.
And I love that. I don't know. I just love when he throws the towel.
Ivan throwing in the towel.
And just watching Dolph climb up there and toss that in to save his son, like, that's character building right there. Yeah, that really is. It's just character building, and then just watching Donnie become his own. And I love that they called it a violent chess match, because it really is. Because Donnie has to get inside. Whenever he's on the outside, he gets pummeled by Victor. And whenever he gets put in the corner, whenever Donnie gets put in the corner, there's no Patrick Swayze there to help him. He has to get out of it. So I like when he gets in tight. Like, that's when a fight is good. When you see the tire during his hell training and he has to stand in the tire and box, and then you see that later on. So, like, yeah, get in there, Donnie, get in there. Like, you know the narrative, you know the flow, and then you know exactly what is needed of the fight. I think that's a pretty good story right there. And also, man, Brigitte Nelson, what a turd, is leaving. I do not like this. And she leaves. They duck out. And
I think it would have been better if he was wearing his Carhartt jacket to that dinner.
oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Because everybody dressed in the elegance, and they're in this beautiful setting, and all of a sudden here's Ivan wearing his jacket.
I mean, Carhartts are great.
They're fantastic jackets. So is Dickies. I actually wear a Dickies jacket all the time because it's life proof. But it's just funny. It would have been hilarious because like everybody's at this elegant dinner, and all of a sudden you got him.
Carhartts are nice.
They are. I wish I could afford one.
People should wear them to the Oscars. But
they did.
and like, you know what's interesting though is the Russians do leave, but this is a gigantic fight, and so the Dragos are getting paid for this, which is kind of like they're getting a life-changing payday with this one. So even though he loses, their life has changed. I think Viktor will become a better boxer because of this. I think Adonis becomes a better boxer because of this, and I love their scene in Creed 3, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I love how there's no bad blood between them, which almost like you needed to have a scene like that, but then you kind of understand that when you watch Creed 3. Spoiler alerts of anybody who hasn't watched Creed 3. But you see that Adonis has become friends with all these people that he boxed, and they all kind of help each other out.
Yeah, it's cool, right? It's
great. I like the story.
That's how you do legacy sequels. You bring back the characters. So when you see them, you go, yeah! Like it's a bit cynical, but I think they handle it well.
Yeah, I like how they gave him the same haircuts. So that just in case you were wondering who they were, like, oh yeah, that was Pretty Ricky. Look at the haircut.
And you know what I love too is when they're fighting later on, when Adonis gets his ribs hit, someone goes, "You think it's broke?" It's like, yeah, of course his ribs are broke.
The announcers actually said you could feel that all the way in the nosebleed section. And one of the things I really liked was Felicia Rashad, who plays Marianne Creed, was that her character is also sympathetic towards Viktor, because whenever you see them in the final match, they're just beating each other mercilessly. That they cut to Marianne and she starts crying because she knows that how Ivan feels about Viktor, and it feels like because he doesn't really have his mother anymore, and she's kind of feeling like it's almost like she's the parent for both of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I really like that dynamic, although it's not spoken, and she doesn't really actively put herself out there. You see that in the movie, and it's like she feels for Ivan as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, Viktor grew up with a very angry dad, and his life is all about accomplishing something that Ivan wants. And so even though the guy has a temper, he is mean, he does do that late punch, he is a bully. I mean, that's how the guy was brought up. And so, but you kind of have to understand that. And so I think that's why there's a kind of a neat narrative. And I think Florian does a good job in this movie because there are looks when they get invited to that party. He's kind of like, Dad, why are we here? When there are other moments, you can see him looking at his dad. You can see the wheels spinning inside his head. And I like that a lot about him. And also, I think my favorite line in this fight is Donnie is just, his ribs have been turned into gelatin. He's in pain. He's hurting. And Rocky says to them, "You like the pain. You are dangerous." Like, I love that line. Like, you like this. This is why you do this. If you didn't like getting hit, if you didn't like putting up with this, you wouldn't do this. So I like that when he says it to him. You like the pain. You are dangerous. I think that's when sort of the light bulb goes off in Adonis's head that, yeah, I am dangerous. I do like this. And then he gets back in the pocket and then just levels the living daylights out of Viktor. It's a good bit, though. I think it's well written, and I think it comes from an understanding of the characters as well. I mean, I don't know. I just like when he goes out, he ties him up, he has blood from his mouth, when he knocks Viktor down, Viktor gets back up. And I kind of love that he gets and then you got to fight through that beating. What's your name, Creed? And then eventually Drago goes down again, and the Russians leave, and the towel's thrown in. There's a cool narrative to it. It's like, will this guy withstand the power? How can he get in close? Will he realize kind of who he is as a fighter? Like, you like this. And then you sort of watch Ivan sort of fall as well, because Viktor has never had stupid Dragos. Viktor has never had this competition before. I don't think Viktor's ever been on the losing end of a fight like this. He's never been past the fourth round. So watching him getting taken to deep waters and eventually his spirit sort of gets sucked from him as Donnie won't quit. That's a cool narrative as well. So there's a lot going on in this fight.
Talking about the writing, most of the writing that's coming from this is written by guys that really didn't have much writing credits to begin with, which is I thought was very interesting. Joel Taylor, his whole background was basically in sound, which explains why the sounds so dynamic in this movie. The music really stands out. The hits really stand out. That final fight every blow is so impactful. And when I was watching this the other day, I thought that this really stood out more than the other Creed movies. Like Creed 1 has great sound as well, especially this first couple of hits. Creed 3 has really good sound as well. But for some reason, Creed 2, those hits really kind of stood out, and the music really stood out. And it comes directly from Joel Taylor, who has his background in sound. And Sasha Penn, who's one of the other writers, he didn't really have any sound either, which is really interesting. They'll go on later to do the remake of Cliffhanger, which I'm looking forward to, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, I mean, he has a story credit, and then watching Stallone get involved, and then you got Joel Taylor. It's cool having new voices in this kind of.
But both movies, the sound mixer was the same guy, Damien Canellos, who did sound. But they didn't do the sound mixing on the third one. But I thought that like the third one, the first one had great sound. Second one has amazing sound. And what was interesting was that Damien, his background is kind of all over the place. He's done piles and piles and piles of movies. But ones that really kind of stand out to me was The Station Agent, which if you've seen that has great sound in it for such a simple film. And Cloverfield, which also has amazing sound in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes Cloverfield. That movie has
really
such a
does.
low budget that you need to, the budget's so tiny that I think you need to add the sound. You need to add everything around it to make that movie work, to make it sound epic.
And also, even though there isn't much sound in it, he did all the sound mixing for the reality show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Wow, that's a lot of sound mixing though. Like different cast members there are in that. Like so, definitely. Oh wow, definitely understands sound. What do you think about the cinematography in this? I think by beautiful. Kramer Morgenthau.
So I felt that it's the intro to the final fight was probably the best thing I had seen. I don't know, probably in a very long time. You have Ivan coming out and they're playing the Russian national anthem, and it's all blue and he has his bright red outfit. It looks very stark contrast. But then you just see the ball of light start on one side of the arena, going all the way down. And then you have this spectacular light show, and then Adonis comes walking out, but you still keep that look. You still have that blue look with the contrast of the red. And what makes that scene look so insane to me is that you literally look like you're walking into the gates of hell, because the bass line that's in that is just boom, boom, boom. And it's very haunting, and you feel like when you're watching the movie, at least from my opinion, Adonis looks like he's going to lose. I don't know about you, but I feel like Adonis was going to lose walking into this match. And it didn't seem very hopeful at all. Like, because it seemed like the crowd was very much in the favor of Drago. It was a little bit of a mixture though. But obviously you're in Moscow, but I feel like people were in favor more heavily into Drago. And with the music and the way it looked, I was like, you feel that he's going to lose. But it's and then after the boxing match and everybody going back and forth, and you start feeling bad for Ivan, it's almost like you feel sympathetic that he is losing. Does that make sense?
Oh wait, Victor,
sorry. Yeah, you feel sorry that Victor is losing.
Yeah, no, because
a little bit.
I mean, listen, he's an angry dude, but he's look how he's grown up.
Yeah. Like he didn't get to have his own life. He was basically being beaten by his father the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's good acting. I think it's good storytelling. I think it's good acting on Michael B. Jordan's part. It's unselfish as well. Yeah, no, you do feel bad for the guy. And when Ivan throws a towel in though, that makes me very happy. It does. It makes me very happy watching Dolph throw in the towel. Like
Also, one of the reasons why Adonis even says that he wants to fight Victor to begin with is because he says that he doesn't have a legacy of his own.
Yeah.
And he said in the deleted scene, he says, Rocky has a statue, and we all know how you feel about my pops, but nobody says anything about me, because everybody's saying, oh, that's Creed's boy. And that's like a reoccurring theme throughout the entire franchise. Actually, is that it's Creed's son. It's not Adonis. It's not Donnie. It's Creed's son or Creed's boy. That's how everybody addresses him. Little things like that I've noticed, and that's why he says in a deleted scene. That's the only reason why he wanted to fight Victor to begin with.
And I mean, look at this. He loses the fight against Pretty Ricky, but he gained respect, and then he wins 6, and then he beats Stuntman for the belt, and so he becomes a champion. That's cool. You've earned the respect, but you don't. That's not like a legacy. You're just a good boxer. I think you get the legacy by getting absolutely destroyed by Victor, coming back stronger and fighting through adversity and winning. I think that is going to be his legacy of this guy who in everyone's eyes he's Adonis's kid, so everyone's going to think he had the silver spoon. And so going through there and despite his youth, going through winning, like he had a stock boxing career until he defeated Ivan Drago or Viktor Drago. And jeez, we've been saying Ivan Drago for so long, so it's like now it's Victor, but it's that's his legacy now. And then in the third one, he's quite happy with his legacy. He finally, spoilers, in the beginning of the fight he defeats Pretty Ricky, and then he has to kind of deal with his past. And so no, I love it. I love that that's his legacy, and I think this movie handles it well. I don't think it, storytelling wise, it's as good as Creed, but I think you're right. The desert training, the boxing, the villain, I think the throwing in the towel, it's probably more thematic, I guess, or more fun, or more bombastic, I would say, than the first one.
Yeah, because you already know the storyline now. You just need to have something that continues to go with it. And I read that whenever Creed was finished filming, the first thing that everybody wanted to know is if he's going to box Ivan Drago's son, or if he's going to box Ivan Drago. And they said, we'll do one better. We'll have him box Ivan's son. I was kind of, when I heard that, I was like, this is going to be pretty cool. I like this idea. And then it's like, well, where are we going to go at next? Are we going to face off against Tommy the Machine Gun's son? Or
65-year-old Ivan Drago comes out of retirement.
But he has a mullet too. No,
just
no.
Imagine that,
like,
though.
What about Clubber Lang?
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Majors is good,
gosh.
though. It's like a Cape Fear movie. But
oh, yeah, it's so good.
That'd be funny if he has to box Ivan Drago and he comes out of retirement. He's 65 and he's walking all stiff to the ring and he can't really run anymore. And Donnie just destroys him.
Oh, gosh.
It's like a one round.
Everyone hates Donnie. Oh, that would be a good twist. Everyone hates Donnie because he pummeled on this poor man who can barely move now.
Wow. Just stretches it out and just punishes poor Ivan.
Or Ivan comes out in a wheelchair and then he just kind of does like a quick yoga move and then whips the bananas out of him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
There goes my legacy. But it's yeah, he just destroys Ivan Drago, and then Ivan's just bloody and left on the floor, just bleeding and crying.
Oh gosh. Or like he pulls out his mouth guard and 5 teeth fall out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Well, wait. I just wanted to add a few things here at the last second. I know that, hold on. So if anybody does want to watch Creed 2, it is currently streaming on, as the recording of this podcast, on HBO Max, TNT, TBS, and Amazon Prime. And you can always find it at Videodrome here in Atlanta. Love those guys, so I like to give them as many plugs as humanly possible. The movie did sit pretty well with the critics, although they were kind of in the middle about this. O.D. Anderson, for writing for Roger Ebert, he gave the movie 3 stars. He did give Creed 1 4 stars and hailed it as one of the greatest movies of 2015. And I think everybody across the board thought that Creed was one of the best movies, if not the best movie of 2015. However, Creed 3, coming out in 2018, people were kind of mixed about it. O.D. wrote that, quote, with this sequel, however, the Creed franchise seems to be destined to travel in the same road as the Rocky franchise did. The intensely personal and original vision of its creator is slowly being corrupted by the seductive demons of a fan service, end quote. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, considering I don't think that people were really – I think that people were okay with it being in the direction that it's in, but I don't think that it would ruin the movie if it does continue like that. I think Creed 3 might actually be the last one of the franchise, only because I don't know where else it would possibly go. But I don't think that with Creed 2, it was going towards a fan look, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I would watch Creed 4 if it was like an undisputed where you veer off and focus on Scott Adkins' character Boyka. So if this one goes and focuses on Dame and Jonathan Major's character as he moves forward, that could be interesting. But we don't. The cycle is closed.
Yeah, I think everything's been wrapped up with Creed in Creed 3. I don't think they need to finish it anymore, but I don't think it was headed in that path just yet.
No.
You know what I mean?
And it made 200 mil, so it made more than the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, which is crazy because I thought that Creed 1 was far more probably would have got more money, but it didn't. Actually, Creed 2 made piles more.
Yeah, I was quite shocked because when I saw the 174 million for Creed, I somehow in my head I thought it made 304 million, like 300 million, 400 million. And I was like 174, but I mean, people love it. It got Oscar nominated, and there's 3 of them, so it's doing fine, and it's making more money. And Creed 3 will make more money than those two, so
definitely, without a doubt. I'm interested in seeing where Creed 4 was going to go if they do decide to make a Creed 4.
He's gonna fight Hulk Hogan's kid. Thunder Lips. Creed Forever.
Creed Forever. The Ultimate Man versus the Ultimate Jelly.
He's cloned.
Talking about his ribs.
Adonis gets cloned. No, turns out Apollo had other kids, and now they want to fight Adonis.
So they all have to put him into a ring. They're 4 of them in a corner. Each one of them's in a corner.
It's like, Dad, thanks.
Now we all have to beat each other up. It's like, no problems.
And in Happy Gilmore, Carl Weathers had the ghost up there as well, so they could have him with Abraham Lincoln and an alligator watching the fights.
Chubs.
It's all in the hit. All right, Chris Kelly, tell them about the podcast and we'll get out of here.
Yeah. If anybody loves listening to the information that Mark and I have talked about, I have a podcast of my own. It's called Classic American Movies. You can find it anywhere that you're streaming your podcast, Spotify or Apple Podcasts, anywhere. And it's a pretty interesting podcast as far as I know.
All right,
Mark's a fan.
Well, thank you for joining me, Chris Christopherson Kelly.
Thank you, Mark the Dart.
All right, so for me, Mark the Dart Hoffmeyer, and for Chris Christopherson Kelly. This is Movies on the Flicks. We'll see you next week.